Hi everybody, this is Carla, and this time I'm here with a review for episode 7 of season 1 of the ABC show Shadowhunters. This episode is titled Major Arcana, and I think after 3 pretty decent episodes, I can now, firmly conclude that it wasn't a fluke. They are actually doing a better job with the dialogue, which makes me really happy because it was kind of cringy at the beginning of the season, and they've now gotten a lot more fluid. Like, I think the actual as much as the dialogue has gotten better, also the actors are sort of becoming more comfortable with what the stuff that has to come out of their mouths. So that also helps. And even in this episode, which was kind of heavily, Jace and Clary focused, it still didn't feel cringy to me. Like, there was one scene where I was like, okay, this one didn't come out really all that well, and that was when they were walking out of the precinct into the other building so they could go up the elevator. When they first noticed the demons following them. That bit, the way they spoke to each other in that scene was kind of the one that made me go, okay, they could have done a better job with it. But the rest of the episode was actually pretty good. I don't like it as much as I like the previous 2 episodes. It might have something to do with the lack of Magnus. I'm not entirely sure, or just the fact that, Alec didn't get to do much in it. But I actually was quite okay with this one. I don't think I have any major problems. I mean, obviously it's kind of a filler episode because none of this happened in the book, obviously, because in the book Luke is not a cop, and obviously none of this happened, and it seems like a, I guess an unnecessary detour, because, well, first of all, who died? Like, they say, the IA guy says, Luke says to Luke, hey, we found, your car wrapped around the pole, blood all over it, close to, a corpse. And I'm like, wait, who died? I mean, I guess they're not talking about the previous alpha werewolf, because he wasn't shot. And the dude asks Luke for his gun. He's like, maybe we'll get a match. And I'm like, well, who got shot? That was kind of something they sprung on us because we had no idea somebody had died close to where they were, I guess Magnus's place. So that was kind of weird, and I'm not entirely sure where they kind of got it from. So it felt like an unnecessary detour and something they just sprung on us because they needed Luke to be unable to get the cup. But still, it wasn't bad. I really liked this. Even the interaction between Jace and Clary was kind of good, because usually they're very mushy, and I know that annoys people. Sometimes it annoys me just when the dialogue is like way too over the top. But even with the amount of interaction they have in this episode, it wasn't cringy, it wasn't too mushy, it was okay, they were teasing each other, like, you could even see, like, little shades of arrogant Jace here and there, in the way he was teasing Clary, so that was kind of interesting, and, I didn't really mind the fact that we spent so much time with the 2 of them by themselves. I liked that one conversation between Alec and Izzy, where he's like, you don't have to sacrifice anything, like, you don't have to change who you are just because you want to help me, and she's like, well, how about you changing who you are, which is kind of very interesting, and I love just the relationship between the 2 of them. I really love it. Whenever they have a scene together, they're always great. The whole Simon subplot was okay. I mean, I spend the majority of the time just thinking, hey, Simon, when you call anybody, you should just lead with the fact that you think you're turning into a vampire, because if you keep telling people, oh, I'm sick, they're gonna be like, okay, and Claire's mom has been kidnapped, so, priorities. right? So just lead with the fact that you think you're turning into a vampire. Maybe they would actually listen to you if that were the case. So I thought, yeah, they're kind of stretching this a little far, because if he had actually told Jace about it, or like any of the other Shadowhunters, they'd be able to tell him, hey, you know what, that's not how turning into a vampire works. And by the way, I kept thinking of that line from The Force Awakens when Han turns to me, it's like, that's not how the Force works. That's exactly the way I picture them telling Simon, hey, that's not how turning into a vampire works, because it's not. It's just, like Camille said at the end, he's just, it's just the effect of her blood on him, inside him, that's kind of giving him these symptoms, but it will go away eventually. I fully don't think that Camille is actually, like, trying to turn him now. I think that's either going to be a hallucination, like maybe the whole thing is a hallucination, or maybe just the last bit is a hallucination. That's the most likely outcome for me, I think. But then also it might just be that it's real and that Raphael intervenes at the end, because Camille does not turn Simon. Those who have read the books know that doesn't happen this way. So I mean, unless they're taking a really big detour, which I hope not, because I like the way it happens in the books, and I think that's really important. So yeah, I don't think Camille is actually going to turn him in the end. So either it's a hallucination or Raphael kind of pops up in the middle and saves him again. But I don't think she's going to turn him in this one. But again, since I really liked, the whole, insect demon thing, I'm like, yeah, really? Insects? Do they have to be insects? That kind of makes me laugh always, but I figure insects were just the cheapest CGI monsters they could come up with. So whatever, I don't mind, they're just demons. I like that the demon turned into Jace, and then immediately he's like, give me the cup, and Claire's like, wait, you're not Jace. So that was, it's funny in a way because it's so cliche, but at the same time, it's kind of adorable in a way. I do like them. Like, at the beginning, I thought they were cringy, but they've gotten better about it, so I like them now. Not to the point where I would, like, watch them every episode just making goo-goo eyes at each other, but they've gotten better, so I can buy it. And the kiss at the end was great. Much better than the one in the movie, at least. God, I still have nightmares about that scene in the movie. That was so bad. And then just the whole thing about them planning stuff was very interesting. Clary's plan at the beginning where she's like, forgive me for the 10%, and then she just slaps him. And that whole scene was so funny, and then he's like, Clary, I just want to tell you that only happened once or twice or just a few times, and I died laughing. I thought that was really good. And then, Vargas just turns to her like, oh, so you like the bad boys? And she's like, what? And she's like, oh, is that just me? I like Vargas. Vargas was cool. Why'd she have to die? That sucks, man. I really like Vargas. But, as soon as she started demanding the list of things in Luke's drawers, I was like, yeah, that's not Vargas. I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't be her, because, for a second the thought crossed my mind that she might actually be like an evil demon or something, or a downworld or some kind, especially when they tried the dog thing. They have the dog barking and she just kind of looks at the dog and you're just kind of expecting her eyes to turn green, but no, she's not a werewolf. She's a demon, that's what she is. And it was kind of obvious that wasn't her. Like I said, by the time that she started asking about Luke's things, that was kind of obvious. But I hate the fact that she was killed. That just sucks so bad, man. I liked her, she was so cool. I do think that she was herself, like in that scene with Clary. So I have that one last moment to remember her. That's good. And then just the next plan over when Isabel's like, okay, Alex, it's your turn to distract. And she starts unbuttoning his shirt and he's like, but what are you doing? No, wait, oh. Alec, you're such a prude. It's adorable. But I thought it was, and then he gets to the woman and he has absolutely no idea what to say. I mean, if I had been that lady, I'd be like, oh, you're cute. But she had to, be professional, so of course she couldn't say the man talking to her was hot, because Matthew Daddario is like the hottest man on earth. But still, it was just funny to see Alec bumbling all about, trying to get the card, the card for the door stuff. That was really fun. I'm glad that we got to see Simon's mom again. I'm glad that we got to see Rebecca. Like I said that in that episode before, when we saw Simon's mom, I was like, I hope we get to see Rebecca. Ta-da! Here we have Rebecca, and I really like her. So that was fun. I mean, the way they come in like, is it drugs? Wait, do you have an STD? That's totally cool. You can talk to me about it. And the other two are just like, Mom, please let me not have this conversation right now. That was funny. I don't know what I think yet about him sleeping with Maureen. I mean, I guess if it makes Maureen more crazy later on, that would make a lot more sense. But again, if he thinks he's turning into a vampire, it kind of makes sense that he would, like, his libido would be up. So I guess it makes sense in my mind. It's interesting, I think it's coherent with the rest of his symptoms, so I don't mind terribly. So yeah, I mean, I like this episode. The show has been getting better, so I really can't complain. There are some things, because these are filler episodes, there are obviously some things that kind of makes you go like, what? Like the Luke thing with the gun and whatever. But for the most part, the dialogue has gotten better. The actors are doing much better than they were at the beginning, especially Kat and Dom, who have improved leaps and bounds, as far as I'm concerned. I can totally watch Clary and Jace without cringing at this point, so that's always an improvement. I hope we do get to see a bit more of Alec and Izzy next time, because I didn't miss them, but I always miss them, so that's not it makes total sense that I missed him here. Luke is doing a great job. I love that scene, by the way, when Luke is in the interrogation room and the dude opens the door and then Clary and Jace just come in like nothing, and Luke just stares and he's like, what is going on? And then, he discreetly tells Jace about the camera, and Jace turns it off. I like that whole scene. That was very interesting. And I even like the scene when they de-glamorize, as Clary would say, in that closet, because it goes back to like Izzy and Alec talking about, Jace and Clary are late. Maybe they're off doing something, and then it turns into the scene turns to the closet, and he's like, Jace, we can't do this here. And Jace is like, Clary, we can do this here. And Claire's like, sure we can. This is a great place. And they're just talking about de-glamorizing themselves. I thought that was funny. I mean, okay, maybe I have the mind of a 13-year-old, but I thought it was funny. I'm sorry. So yeah, I thought this was a good episode. They've really improved. Like, that's all I can say about this show. It's, at the beginning, it didn't look like it was going to be anything amazing. I thought they improved a lot. By the way, the special effects on Demon Jace's mouth, because usually the mouths look pretty weird, and they do them from like far away, so you can't really see much detail, but they look really kind of off because they don't have that much budget for special effects. But this one looked really great, the one on Jace. So I like that. I mean, the one on the grandma was like blah, whatever. It just looked like something pasted on. But the one on Jace looked really good, and it was really up close. So that was very good. They know. I guess they know where they're putting their CGI budget. One thing I didn't like, and I just remembered, is just Clary using the cup to like make the demons go back. I mean, I guess theoretically it has the power because it is an instrument given to the Shadowhunters by an angel. It should repel demons in a way, but it reminded me a lot of that scene in the movie where Clary draws a rune on her hand and just everything just kind of stops. And they don't really explain it. It made me feel that way, so I didn't like that one as much. But overall, this was a pretty good episode. I didn't like it as much as I liked the previous two, but it was still pretty good. I mean, obviously the show is progressing, so, that makes me happy. They can actually make a decent show out of this thing when they're actually, working right on their dialogue and not just writing whatever needs to be written for without even thinking of how it flows. So good job, show. I've been very happy with the show for the last 3 weeks, so it's a good feeling, and I'm rooting for the show to do good. It seems like it's pulling, decent ratings, at least better than some of the other big shows that have been on for a while. So I think there's a good shot for renewal. We're halfway through, and if it keeps getting better, then sure, I think it has a decent shot, and I would actually be happy to see it renewed, though it's a little early for this to happen yet, because I think ABC only announces the renewals in like May or something, so there's still a while to go. But so far, I'm really happy. After some really crappy episodes, they actually managed to, do a decent job for 3 episodes in a row. So great, and I'm really happy, and that's it from me today. So as always, remember to visit our website at thegeekypub.com. We have reviews not just for the previous Shadowhunters episodes, but also for other TV shows, books, movies, games, you name it. Just visit, browse around, you'll find something you like. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's usually where our reviews go up first. Even before they hit the website, they're most of the time up on YouTube already. So be sure to subscribe, and then that way you won't miss anything whenever we upload anything new. And that's it for me today. I will see you guys in my next review. Bye!